ladies and gentlemen, this is the Quadrant. What is the Quadrant, you may ask? Well, I have trapped 3 individuals in a... Someone's just gifted a sub! Oh, thank you so much, Mira! Thank you so much! Oh, Zoe, there you go, get a gift sub there. And access to all those wonderful new emotes that we have received. Including the wonderful Salita, which I think can be very proud of my makeup on. Thank you so much for the gift sub, it means a lot to me. What is the Quadrant, you may ask? What is the Quadrant? Well, I have trapped 3 individuals in this box with me. I've chained them down, and they have nowhere to go unless they can basically make amends from their past deeds by confessing them to us here tonight. And then, at the end of tonight, one of them will be killed. One of them, I will fucking them free. And the last one, I will marry, and they will stay in the Quadrant with me forevermore. I should say now that this is the first time these 3 guests have heard of the concept of the show. Don't worry, it's not literal, it's all for fun.
Am I done?
But yes.
I was going to say, where's the saber?
Yes, they are now trapped with me, and I hope all of you will come in and view through the viewfinder into this box, this tomb, this Quadrant I have created. We are being joined tonight by 3 wonderful guests. I say guests, captives. Thank you very much for the follow, Drunk Sober Titty, and what a great name. I've seen it before, but to say it out loud brings me so much joy. I don't think we're going to get many sober individuals tonight because all of our captives tonight have brought with them 1 story to appease me and 1 drink to make themselves merry on their journey through the Quadrant. So let's introduce the guests and see what they have brought with us as a beverage of choice this evening. Let's start at the top left with the wonderful Battle, Battle, Battle Hamster. I won't do the whole thing because you might have a headache.
I'm going to say.
Battle Hamster, who are you? What do you do? And what do you bring with you
Battle
tonight?
Hamster. I am a reenactor and Twitch streamer. I'm in around the 12th century, and tonight my drink of choice is some Old Hopkins spiced navy rum mixed with Pepsi, I believe, and some lemon juice.
Oh, I like a good Pepsi. And Harley, I know, is a big fan of the rum, as I'm sure a lot of people are. I know Meatloaf is as well. Yes, good choice of drink, everyone.
I like it.
Yeah,
Classic.
Like it?
Works, yeah.
At the top right there, we've got the wonderful, you might be familiar with him, he's a regular on all my shows, the co-host of, a team captain rather, of Twatch. It is Scottish Meatloaf.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, who are you, what do you do, and what do you bring with you tonight?
I'm also a Twitch for most of the time. Give or take. I am drinking a very nice wild cherry brandy
Oh, brandy?
with soda water.
So, oh, okay. Well, I think we got some nods of
Classy.
approval there. Yeah, classy, look at that. Cheers, yes. Absolutely. And of course, to my left on the screen, I believe. Left on the screen, I believe. It's always going to be
Directions are
confusing.
hard.
Yeah, it always is. It's the wonderful Zoe.net. Tell me who you are. What do you bring with you this evening?
I'm Zoe. I'm a variety streamer, and that's pretty much all I do right now. I play soft games, scary games, wholesome games. I cry a lot. That's my vibe. And I brought a beer with me from a brewery that I actually was in the town where I went to college. It was a very lovely little brewery in a little beach town. Loved going there for dinner, loved trying their different beers, and they have them in cans. So
Oh, nice. Hey, very good.
take a little bit of college home with me.
Oh, and if anyone doesn't know me, I am your host. I am So, the variety streamer, improv comedian, and host, and I bring with me, as always, the always wonderful Mountain Dew. Yes, I don't drink the alcohol, but I'll always drink a dew. And if you don't like it, well, I've got one thing to say to ya. Do me. Yeah, anyway, moving on. we're going to kick off with a round of would I? No, I don't know if I would. I have never. It's a very simple concept. I say, I have never done something. If you have done that thing, you would drink. It's quite simple. And then you might get probed for it. We're going to go around in a clockwise manner from me. And just to break the ice, get things flowing here. Thank you very much for the hype trade, guys. I really appreciate the rig subs, the gift subs, and the biddies. Thank you so much. What a way to kick things off here tonight. Okay, so I have never taken any recreational drugs. And they all drink. Oh, right, okay. Wow, all right. I would like to unpack all three stories there, but I think mine now is the one that's singled out. No, I've been offered several times, to be honest with you. Many times I've been walking down the street and I'll just get someone come over to me or a car pull up right in front of me when I'm about to cross the bloody road. The window winds down. Like, do you want something? You want some weed? You want that? I'm like, hello? No, I'm all right, mate. Thank you. Move along. Right. I'm on my way to Booper. Anyway, right. Anyway, hamster. Is there anything you have never done?
I mean, I've only ever smoked weed. I've never done anything else. I remember being at one party in Denver and seeing someone doing a line of cocaine and being like, I thought that only happened in the movies. I didn't know that this was like a real thing, that I could actually like walk into a room and find it happening. Similar experience when I went to a strip club for the very first time and walked into the bathroom and saw two of the dancers also doing a line off of the bathroom counter and just being like, no, this isn't a real thing. I'm not here right now.
It's a weird separation, isn't there? You see it all the times in the movies because it's such a great. It's not great character trait, but it's one that obviously can be used narratively quite often. So you see it happen quite often. But yeah, if you're not familiar with it, I suppose it can be quite daunting. These things happen all the time.
It's like, oh, I'm in an episode of Skins now. That's what's happening currently.
There you go. Exactly. I don't know if you guys want to confess to your drug taking at all.
Pot and LSD once.
LSD.
But it was boring. It didn't open my imagination.
You haven't got an imagination, mate.
Exactly, that's why I tried it.
He
See
suffers
if I
from
actually could.
Anastasia.
Aphantasia.
That's it, Fantasia. Anyway. Hamster?
You see, mine's even more embarrassing. I got confused. I thought we drank if we hadn't done it.
No, the drink is a sort of a nod to you having done it, basically.
Right.
So you better get on. You better get on the snorting, mate, because what you've said now is is law. I'm going to make a note of that. He lied to me in the first round. No. Hamster.
No, I got confused.
No, that's fine. He got confused. Explain it more carefully, so but blame him anyway. No. Hamster, what have you never done? Your turn. I have never blank. Reaching for the dew.
Oh dear God. I have never pole that. I have never pole danced before.
In a professional manner, or just in any...
No. In a I am drunk and there happens to be a pole.
Well then.
Right. I think I have. Yes. I did pole. There was often small poles that held up like the kind of like it's weird. The buildings at school had this sort of like roof that stuck out slightly, and they would be held up like thin poles as structural support. And I will have put on a performance for many an individual around that when I was young. Let's just say that.
I think the first time was actually a stop sign that we were just walking by, and people were just generally like, I mean, why not? Like, we're having a good time, just hanging out. I'm like, yeah, I can do it. I totally got no, that was not good. Other than that, I actually have had several friends who have taken pole dancing classes and that have had just poles in their houses. That it's fun. It's fun exercise. It's fun to try it out. And I don't know. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of core work.
Oh, I bet. I was exhausted after a minute, if that. You know? Yeah. There's only so much you can do before you end up just doing Singing in the Rain, where you just swing around it. You know?
That's the best way to do it, I think.
Put your feet at the base and then just swing round. It's like a child on a lamppost or something. You know? But yes, Meatloaf, your turn. I'm surprised he didn't pole dance himself.
What? No, that's not something I would do.
I can see it.
I mean, I'll get up on a table and stumble off it, but as far as crazy stuff I've done. Never.
It can be as outrageous as you wish, or simplistic. It's okay.
Well, so you see, my mind can go pretty outrageous.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be like extremely outrageous.
Well. Meatloaf. Are we seeing a shift in personality here? What do you mean? I have to go back.
Never have I ever
yeah.
slept with my best friend. Partner.
Never slept. You have never slept with your best friend's partner. Well, no, I haven't. So I got confused there. Damn soul. Pull a hamster. Okay.
A reveal.
Wait, so he has?
Mm-hmm.
You have Meatloaf?
I'm not saying a word.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But yeah, okay. Wait a minute. You just said I have never and then drunk it.
Yeah, I was just drinking. That's why I'm not saying it.
Oh, okay. All right. I was so confused. What this time drink there? All right, Zoe. What have you never done?
Oh God. I'm trying to think of something that some people might have done.
Lovely cat ears, by the way.
Thank you. God, what is a thing that people do? I'm barely a human as it is. I've never.
I was going to say the background is fantastic on Hamster. Yeah, he really can't. He didn't just come prepared. He brought the bar with him.
I have never gone on a blind date.
Oh, was there a drink for both there, Hamster? Did you drink as well there? Oh, you didn't. I saw your hand come up. So it's just Meatloaf, the blind date. What? Tell us about this blind date.
Well, I've already told you so I'll remind you with me walking into a door.
Oh, that's that story. Okay.
Yeah, so what happened was a friend of mine from high school decided to pair me up with someone else from high school who I never really knew for a blind date. So I get there, we're both, nervous. I'm more nervous, and I have muscle twitches sometimes. So I'm sitting there holding a glass of water, trying to drink it. My muscle twitches in my arms, and I throw the glass at him. And as I stand up, I knock the whole table over. My anxiety goes through the roof. She storms off to the bathroom. And I try to leave the restaurant, and I walk into the door and fall on my ass.
How could you get mad at that, though? Like, that's just... I can't imagine leaving. I can't imagine being upset by that. Just an amazing sequence of events.
It really was.
It is. I will I'll give you that, but if you were in my position,
Oh no, I understand
Yeah.
your position. I am talking about her position. I can't imagine being upset. I can't imagine being like, no, I can't. This dude is just not. I can't imagine walking away.
Oh.
At the very least, for the entertainment of seeing what continues to happen afterwards.
I was there the night. Was it on the night you came into the VC?
it was the night after.
It was the night after the VC, and he told me about it, and I felt so bad, but I couldn't stop laughing. I know it's awful. I'm a bad person, but like he found the funny side of it, but I just couldn't believe.
It was extremely funny that it happened. But
Just
and fun fact, she's only ever called me back once.
So, yeah, you should not come back. You know.
Called back, yeah, you got called back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was with the dry cleaning deal.
Dry cleaning. Oh my word. Oh dear.
I do.
Oh, that's well. We're off and running, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if I was to often run, one thing you definitely won't catch me being is drunk, because I don't drink. Well, I drink, but obviously otherwise I'll be thirsty all the time. But I don't drink alcohol. But one thing you wouldn't see me do is stumble and fall into the ditch of a castle. Battle Hamster, what happened?
What happened was a very good night in the middle of a show. So, being a reenactor, I go all around the country doing shows where I put on performances and teach the public.
Awesome.
Very early on in my reenactment career, I was at a beautiful place called Whittington Castle in the height of an actually decent English summer, which meant it wasn't actually raining and was mildly warm. Now, I had spent most of that evening, after the first day of the show, rolling around the different encampments, meeting old friends, catching back up, and doing quite a lot of drinking.
As you do.
I then stumbled into a beautiful bunch of people called The Fireplace, who are a kind of sea shanty folk song band, and continued to drink more alcohol. I believe it was mead at the time, which they'd raided from the English Heritage Shop.
Nice mead.
Singing folk songs. I then decided, as it was far beyond the cusp of night, that I should go back to my tent. I remember walking out of the gatehouse. The next thing I remember is I'm curled up at the bottom of a defensive dry motte, which is the embankment around the outside of castles to form a defensive breach where men cannot easily get access to the walls. At the bottom of it, curled up in my cloak. I had woken up because it was a nice sunny morning and was just completely blinded by the light of the early morning sun. So I crawled out of the ditch and then realised that it was 3 hours until the gates opened.
Oh.
So I sat in front of the gatehouse for 3 hours until they let me in, at which point I crawled, or shuffled, as it was most likely, to our little encampment and tried cooking myself some breakfast.
Damn. But it's so...
And had to fight the next day.
Oh, you managed it as well, I'm sure. It's one amazing thing. You get to journey around and do these reenactments of, I'm assuming, famous British battles. You must become quite the expert over the years. This kind of thing. I mean, how I understand reenactments, but I mean, like, do people get hurt quite often in it? I think you got hurt quite recently, didn't you? I remember you mentioning something along those lines.
I mean, it is a full contact martial art.
Oh.
And that is the way you've got to think about it. Now, yes, we are throwing around steel weapons, but like any martial artist, we do a bunch of training so that you are safe. Right. We have a lot of rules and regulations on where you can and can't hit people and how you can hit people to make sure that it is safe. Now, saying that, like any martial art, you'll pick up a few bruises.
I suppose it's true.
I remember at one point walking into a lecture with my fingers kind of bandaged up, and my lecturer turned to me and went, "Mark, what happened to your arm?" And I went, "Oh, I got hit by a sword in the weekend."
Does, yeah.
And my lecturer just turned around and said, "I love asking Mark questions on a Monday morning because you get the best answers." Everyone else just gets drunk and falls down the stairs, but no, Mark punches a sword.
Yeah. Or gets drunk and sleeps in a moat.
Falls
You
into
know?
I don't think I quite told my lecturers that. I was a bit too much.
Yeah, no. Oh, sure. Oh, brilliant. So these so your battles, do you represent only one side, or do you do both? Curious.
Depends. So it really does depend on where we are at the time. So if we're in, like, for this particular story, we're in a place called Whittington, which is right on the Welsh border. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the shows we do there are about, the Welsh conflict with the Normans, so the Welsh marches and Carnarvon Castle and that sort of history. And obviously we fight as the English, the Welsh groups fight as the Welsh, so
right. Gotcha.
We're very much on one side. When we do shows like Hastings, which I was at a month or so ago.
Oh.
Yes, because it was October. I have learned my dates.
I miss him.
We fight as the Normans, and the kind of Viking groups fight as the Saxons, and we can go to other shows where it's based on numbers. They'll get roughly even numbers each side and make, okay, you guys are fighting for, say, Richard Lionheart, and you guys are fighting for King John, and that. So we have even teams, and we go from there.
Okay. How choreographed is it exactly? How much planning does it require?
In terms of getting everything, like, planning on where things are, quite a lot. When it comes to the displays, again, there's a lot, but the type of choreographing, again, kind of depends on where we are. So, in Hastings, it's 1066. Everyone knows, the cavalry are going to charge up 2 times, and then William the Conqueror's going to ride up and down going, "I'm still alive," and then the Normans are going to break the shield wall, Harold's going to get arrowed in the eye, and they're going to fall to pieces.
Right.
It's taught in,
Yeah.
level, basic history. Everyone knows that, so that's very scripted.
Right.
How many times we walk up and down the hill is scripted.
Well, I suppose that's very fair. What about skirmishes? Like, there's a lot of things swinging about. Do you have to keep, like, does safety say you've got to keep a certain distance from other individuals? I mean, so you don't get, like, a backswing in the eye and that kind of stuff.
So we have, there are ropes separating between us and the audience, and they're about, I think, 3 or 4 meters apart, so, the audience is safe. When it comes to things like backswings and stuff, we train so often. We train basically once a week. That kind of eliminates those kind of rogue rogue blows that ended up not happening because we're trained not to do them, essentially.
Because in my head, I'm seeing Monty Python and the recreation of the battles by the Women's Society and the old women with the bags, and they're running in and just smashing each other in the mud with their handbags, and it's just a free for all. That's what I picture you doing, my friend. What a way to just undermine everything he does in one fell sweep.
The lucky thing I have is that never happens because we're fighting with so many people. The best way to fight is essentially in, like, 2 blocks of forces that kind of go and crash.
Right.
So, and you see this a lot in movie as well, because it's a really good set piece. You see kind of 2 forces kind of slam together and they all sort of jumble up, and you then have a very nice set piece where a drone can fly by and there's a bunch of people doing 2-on-1 fights, and there's always that kid in the audience who goes, "Why doesn't that man turn around and stab him in the back?" Well, the answer is, in real combat that never happens. The 2 forces will kind of meet, and then because you're so packed in next to each other, there isn't that kind of dispersion.
Right.
So you end up fighting basically a wall of people, but you've got a wall of people yourself. one of the interesting things I always tell people when they first start society is you've got to think like you're a pawn in chess. Because when you play chess, the pawn does not take the person in front of them. They take the person to either side.
Right, yeah.
Now that doesn't make any sense if you look at just like two pawns being on the board like that. But when you get into a line fight, you realize that the person directly in front of you has a big shield in the way. You can't get around that shield.
Yes, you would.
Two people down the line, well, they're looking that way.
Yeah.
And their side is open, so that's where you aim.
Yeah, that's very, very true. You don't really think about those kind of things, do you? Yeah, very true.
So again, you have the physical, like the two walls of steel almost kind of meeting. And that's how it goes. You don't get the kind of like rolling on the floor, although we could probably, if we wanted to do that as a set piece, we probably could, but...
I love the idea of like lines of individuals. They appear on the heel, but it's not just one line, it's multiple lines of individuals. And they all go charge, and they meet, and then the front lines start fighting each other, and then everyone in the other rows just kind of stands there and waits their turn patiently. Just, I don't want to hit my part. Get a sword in there like that. Just start jabbing through the ranks. Just trying to get through.
I mean, you do have the advantage. You have a long spear. You can kind of get over them.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you should go over like that, like a boom mic coming in.
Yeah, it's like a boom mic. Kind of, there you go.
I'll hit one of them in the eye, you know. But yes,
yeah.
What was it about the
filtering?
castle?
So the person in front of you drops, and you just take that space.
Did you say that when you woke up? Because it's quite picturesque. It's quite nice to wake up. You know, it's such a picturesque scene with you know, big castle. You know, it's a wonderful sight, especially those that don't see these castles very often or see these sights very often. You know, nice British gentle morning. You wake up. All right, you were drunk. You're blinded, but then you're stumbling around. So why wasn't it open? Wasn't there no one there to let you in? Like, was no one around at all?
Well, they were around, but there was a load of people who were in the actual castle itself.
Right.
And there was a lot of us in another campsite, about maybe a 5-minute walk away, which we call plastics, which is basically just the slang for non-authentic tents.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, the gates weren't open because they're opened up, so the reenactors around about 8 o'clock, which is a reasonable time of the day, can get in. But this was as the sun rose, so about 6 o'clock, like 5-6 o'clock in the morning, when everyone else is in bed, and I'm kind of trudging around in my authentic clothes, wondering why I'm in a ditch.
Oh my God! Just it's crazy. The life you live, you know. You think recreation, you know, and history. Some people might turn their nose up at it, but that right there should sell you on it, right? It's fun.
Oh yeah.
People get drunk and fall in ditches, you know. No, but it's fascinating. It's always fascinating. I've never actually seen a recreation. Guys, have you ever seen any of these kind of recreations stateside? Because I'm sure they happen a lot more often. Yeah.
I participated in one reenactment a couple of times actually, but it's the American Revolution reenactment.
Right, I suppose that's quite common. Yeah.
So it's somewhat similar. I mean, we still use kind of real muskets. That's the horrible part. But of course, there's no ball in it, so it's just gunpowder that's going.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we did a recreation. We lost the entire opposition. They were good men, good friends of mine.
We were really committed to realism.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Realism is our byword.
I've also
do it right.
participated in one Civil War reenactment.
Oh, right, okay.
And I hated the place they put me on because I was on artillery. So loading the cannon.
Oh, dear.
Because you have to wait in between shots so the powder cools down, and then you have to take a wet ramrod, shove it down the barrel to dampen all the powder in there already. Then you have to dry it, and it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Because you got to wait for someone to say, okay, you go.
Right.
Now stop. Wait 5 minutes.
So, I'm assuming there might be quite a few. Are there any of those kind of roles in Hamster, your recreations? Those kind of just Someone's new. Let's give them one of the easy rolls.
To a degree. So really, we don't use any sort of Black Party munitions. So the kind of time period we're talking about is like just during the First Crusade, but we're really talking about like the Barons' Rebellion or the Anarchy, which are periods of history where a lot of the time it's foot soldiers, and it's just foot soldiers. So we have. Like, if the closest thing I can kind of think of to what Meatloaf is talking about is maybe a non-combat archer.
Oh, okay.
Where, you step up, you hit archers forwards, you walk up, you take your position, you wait for the call, so you'll hear things like, I have to stop myself from doing authentic orders. Like, knock an arrow, draw, loose, and all that kind of stuff. And then once you've done your little bit of archery, you kind of step back, you run it off the battlefield because you're a non-com,
right.
So your job's kind of done, and then you just kind of hang around at the edges. But that's kind of a choice you make. It's not a position that you're put in. That's you as a person gone, I really like my archery, I really like my sitting around the encampment and eating bacon. However, what I don't want to do is get hit by a spear.
Yeah.
I'll run away as soon as the spears come out.
I love the name non-com. Non-com. Non-com.
Yeah,
You're
just
such a
non-combatant.
non-com. You are. Get involved, you non-com. Just brilliant.
Oh, did I lose people? What happened?
We
no.
could.
Oh.
All right, yeah. Two people are
Everything is
frozen
back
in
in
place. Oh, they're both back.
There we go. Everybody back?
We're all
Okay.
good. We're all good. Great flag bearer. Flag bearers. There you go. They got to lead the charge. They can't do much with flags, can they? Would flags have some kind of spike on the end so they could like march in and then by surprise?
Well,
I was poked by one in a class once, but that was entirely unrelated to any combat. It was just that someone was trying to get my attention, so they picked up the flagpole that was just in the classroom and stabbed me with it.
Oh, bloody hell. Oh. Right there, I thought it was going to be an interesting story about the time you got poked, but instead it was so trying to raise the flag at you. Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh my, yeah. My word. Hey, how you doing? Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Anybody show? We are here in the Quadrant. We are captives, and they must tell me their tales of woe. We have just heard the recreation of events that were when Hamster got drunk and fell in a ditch and slept for the evening. But welcome in all. Don't mind me, I'm deep in conversation. We've got pleasant guests here. We're joined by Battle Hamster, Meatloaf, and Zoe. But I think I would love to see a reenactment. I really would. I think it'd be awesome. Especially if I knew you were there somewhere, Battle Hamster. I'd love that.
Yeah.
I could come and root you on. I'll bring posters because they were quite prominent at the time. It'll just say battle, battle, battle. Couldn't fit the rest. Like that.
I'm just imagining the pointer and English Heritage Steward walks up to me and goes, "Excuse me, are you the Battle House?" I'm like, "Yes." How do you know that name? A British gentleman called Sol is looking for you?
Oh dear. We are not sponsored by Mountain Dew. We're sponsored by Chains. Yeah.
But my hair looks like Mountain Dew.
I love your hair. It's fabulous.
Okay.
Yeah, that really is. That really is fantastic. You've always impressed me with your hair.
Thank you.
And watching you do your makeup as well. I love it. I genuinely love it. When I see Meatloaf do his as well, it's fantastic. Chains kinky. Yeah. Well, we're not afraid to be sponsored by kinky stuff. So maybe one day Charlie will sponsor us, for example. So yes. So amazing. I just think the whole recreation thing is incredible. It goes on so often, and yet it's one of those things that it's never going to come near my neck of the woods, unfortunately. So I'd have to go out of my way to get there, but I would love to see it. I'm trying to think what kind of role I would serve in there if I was to do it. I sort of like, what would I prefer? And it would probably be the person who is back in HQ with a big broom, pushing little figurines of people around a map, if that's all right. Do you think that I can recreate that moment in history?
I don't know, because I reckon you would get quite high in the, what we call the Mummers Guild.
I think that. What was that?
So the Mummers Guild is basically our kind of set piece. So we have a couple of basically like little presentation, like skits almost. So like there might be one like little show where you have like the surgeon, and one of the master surgeons in the society is kind of doing like a talk on, you know, medieval medicine, and I have someone shuffling on going, "I've lost an eye."
Oh, I could do that. I could do that.
It would be Sol.
Oh yes, here we go.
You know, on saying, "I've got an arrow in my leg," and all that, and you know they kind of go, "Oh yes, we'll do this." But there's also, you know, I reckon you'd get quite high in there. I don't know if your combat would be that high, but I reckon you get quite high in the Mummers Guild, to be honest.
I'm gonna get into the scene now. Here we go. Oh bloody hell, me eye! There you go. What do you think of that?
I reckon you should apply to my Mummers Guild. I reckon you'll get journeyman quite quickly.
Oh, fantastic. I love the they go full on. It's not half-assed. I've never seen one live, but I've seen them like casually, and they fully commit to them. It's incredible. One
Anything that involves choreographed combat, I think, is just amazing. I've done martial arts and stage combat both, and just anything that combines,
that's awesome.
You know, violence with art, I think is really cool.
Well, that's why I'm a big pro wrestling fan myself. You know,
exactly.
You know, stage drama, physical combat. It's quite interesting. I quite like it because there is an element of safety to all of it. You know, they're trained individuals. You know, recreating events, but telling a story, whether it's recreation, whether it's pro wrestling, whether it's whatever it is. You know, so it's no different than acting and telling a story. So that's why I like it. Yeah. Now, I probably would be able to commit to the physical combat of it all. I'd probably, you know, not with my hands the way they are. I probably would be able to lift a sword. I'd probably just end up cutting the grass. You know, but I also probably couldn't commit to learning a new language, let alone attempting a new language. And I believe Zoe has done such a thing. Zoe, regale us with this tale.
So my mom is actually Japanese and Filipino. You can't tell because I look like this. But I started learning Japanese to connect with my heritage when I was 4. And I've been to Japan a couple of times, including when I was little. I got to go visit the island that my family is actually from, Okinawa, where they have some more off the beaten path foods. They were actually colonized by Japan later on. Originally, they were Ryukyu before Okinawa, so they have their whole long line of history that's completely unassociated from Japan. Technically, I'm not even Japanese. I'm Okinawan. Anyway. So we went there. It was my mom, my great-grandmother, and I. And for a lot of it, it was just going to visit some of the historical places. Just, again, very much connecting with my heritage and getting to learn more about it, getting to visit some of my family and being immersed in it. And most of that was done with help. The family members would take us places. But because I was studying, there was still as much as possible opportunities for me to demonstrate perhaps what I had learned. And one day, my mom and I actually went to lunch by ourselves. No guides, just vibes. And we went to this little, like, super tiny mom and pop restaurant. And walk in, they are so excited because there is a foreigner here. My mom, ambiguous. Me, I look white as fuck, and oh my god, we're just so excited to see this little white girl walk into this restaurant. Wow, this is incredible. And we're sitting down trying to figure out what to do. My mom can't read the menu at all. I sort of can, except that I'm like 6 to 8 years old, somewhere in there. I have learned to read, like, the very basic languages, but I have not learned kanji, which is the more fancy, the most of the characters that you see will be kanji characters.
Okay.
And I don't know how to translate either. I can just read the characters off of the page and repeat them to you.
Right, so you've got okay, I get it.
Yes. So I get the menu. There are 2 things on the menu that I can read. And that's what we're gonna do. And my whole thing is just completely ignoring my limitations, just overcommitting and to the void and hoping for the best. So I'm like, this will work out great. It'll be fine. Girl boss too close to the sun. It's fine. What we get back is a plate of Spam and eggs, which is, again, fairly traditional in Okinawa. It's fairly normal in Hawaii and fairly normal in and in the Philippines as well. But very basic, inoffensive, who cares? That's what I ordered from my mom. What I got was a giant bowl, and I mean giant because, again, they were so excited that I ordered this, what turns out to be extremely traditional dish of noodle soup with pig's feet. Just gigantic 2 whole pig's feet.
2
sitting on
trotters.
top of my bowl of noodles. Yes.
Wow.
And I am 6 years old, sitting in this restaurant going, what have I done? And knowing, too, that I can't turn it down. I can't send it back. I can't not eat it. I have to look like I'm enjoying it. And they're watching me.
Yeah.
They are staring at me because they are so excited that I ordered this, and they are so excited to see my gratefulness to this large portion that they have given me. So I did. I just sat there eating it. Everything is fine. Every once in a while they would ask me how it is, and I'm like, yeah, great, everything's fine. And then my mom had to take me for ice cream afterwards because I did such a good job eating the pig's feet. And then later on, I wrote a paper about Okinawan food and the health benefits of it. So I don't know. I guess I learned something.
That's I just being presented with. You must have been really excited up to that point as well, because you must have been like, "Oh, I got through." They took.
Doing great. Yeah. No, I read it. I'm fine. Everything is fine.
Yeah.
I got through the worst of it. And I love Japanese food. I grew up my mom. Both my parents really wanted to make sure that I was not a picky eater. Which they always joke that they instead made me an expensive picky eater because they're like, we'll just raise her on sushi and things like that, and that's all I want to eat now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I had this identity of, oh, I'm not a picky eater, and then this bowl of feet is put in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm questioning my entire existence now.
I'm assuming you were a meat eater at the time.
I was.
Yeah.
I was still a meat eater, yes.
Yeah, no. But
still not
even so, because you see your pig's head in the window maybe of a butcher's shop.
Right,
That could be quite a frightening image in of itself. That's a butcher shop isn't pleasant by any means, whether you're a meat eater or not. It does still reap.
Gruesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's a butcher. It's a butcher. It's you see a pig's head or something like that, but to then be presented with whole feet.
They're big. They had clearly given me the most generous portion that they could.
They think
it was
they're
just
doing.
Sign of love, and I knew I had been studying this stuff. I knew that this was a very cultural and just exciting thing, and I needed to appreciate it. And of course, looking back, I appreciate it so much. It was such a cool experience, and I can say that I ate something that is important to my family's culture. But oh my god.
Yeah. So I have that commitment as well to go through with it at such a young age. I think this potato chips, that's quite impressive. To be like, hey, you know what? I've got this, mother. And then clearly 5 minutes later,
we
I haven't got
had
this.
like that look with each other of like we both knew that I had so much regret.
Yeah.
And so much regret. But just that look of it's okay, we'll get through this together.
Yeah, that's
And meanwhile she's cruising on her eggs and spam.
I was completely. She's alright.
The simplest food in the world compared to.
What you were saying? How big was that bowl? You said it. You said it was overly.
It was a big bowl.
Very
It was
generous.
a big bowl, like ramen bowl. It was pretty much like a ramen bowl size, like fairly large bowl, and then 2 big feet. They were just feet. There's no other way to explain.
Was there
it.
any leg? Was there any leg to it?
No, it's
Maybe
it's
just
from the
massive
ankle
feet.
down,
Oh,
but
it's
there's
just
the
massive
hoof
feet.
on it, and it's
Oh.
very like gelatinous, and
I know
but it's also it's very healthy.
Are you meant to eat? How are
What's
you
that?
meant to eat them?
What?
How are you meant to eat those things? I mean, they seem.
They're very soft. They're very tender
Oh.
once they're cooked. So you just kind of
Oh, okay.
pick it apart. You pull
I
pieces
can't-
off.
I know
of
it seems
yeah.
such a thing. I'm just like it's a whole foot.
It's all in soup, and you're supposed to eat the noodles in the soup too. But yeah, it's very traditional. Again, I wrote my senior thesis in college on why people in Okinawa live so much longer than people really anywhere else in the world. Actually, people in Okinawa live like the longest in the world.
It's because of pig
But
feet.
the paper was specifically on comparing like the health practices of people in Okinawa to the health practices of people in America, and like how that potentially creates a divide. And yeah, it was I got to actually reference my pig's feet thing in that paper because it's
Nice.
it's a fairly key part of Okinawan diet is pork in general. And a big part of the culture is very much using all the parts of the animal. So
Right. Yeah. Which,
that's
I
how we
suppose.
end up there.
I suppose I'm not. I'm what is considered a polo pescatarian. Well, I don't really care to label it. I eat chicken and fish. I don't eat mammals. I've never liked pork in even when I was. But the idea of using every asset of the animal does seem
Well, it's
it's
super. Yeah, it's very. Most indigenous and native cultures are very much that way too, using all parts of it both for food and for art and for clothes. It's a much more sustainable way. It's a lot about paying respect to the creatures that we're killing in order to use
Right.
them. It's a whole spiritual health and
there's a lot more
and
respect
sustainability thing.
than processing and profiting.
Yeah.
I suppose.
That's one of the amazing things about food culture in Japan overall is there is so much respect for the nature of it. It's very seasonal. A lot of menus are very, very seasonal. There is so much care put into the dishes. I feel like there's a lot of simplicity to them, making sure that things like that the individual ingredients really sing by themselves. That you're not just kind of a lot of the specialty sushi rolls that you see are very, very Western. Those you won't see anything like that in Japan because it's about making again the individual ingredients shine.
Yeah, so I love that. I'm fully behind that. Absolutely, simplistic the better as well. Because I think it's very, very much the way to go. Meatloaf, you were about to say that you have been confronted with pig's trotters yourself. Is that what you were going to say?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So, my grandfather loved pickled pig feet.
Pickled?
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh.
that's a thing.
Yep. And he got me to try it once, and I just got so sick. I mean,
There's a lot of weird things that get pickled.
yeah.
Lutefisk.
Yeah. Baby corn. Eggs.
Pickled eggs I haven't tried pickled eggs yet. That's one of those things that I feel like again that's only in movies. I don't believe that it's real.
Oh no, I can 100% tell you it's real. My mother makes it every year,
Oh.
and it's horrible.
Me and Hamster, we love the pickled onion, don't we, Hamster?
Pickled onion.
No.
Damn. Not a fan of the pickled onion. Why?
I think mainly because when I was very, very young, I was allergic to onions.
Oh, I was aware of that. Oh.
And it's something I just grew out of. By the time I was 14, I wasn't. I can't tell you why. That's just how it was. However, a few things have stuck with me. One is a hatred of onion-flavored crisps, and the other is pickled onions.
Well, just
Pickled cucumbers. No, we're talking.
look,
Pickled cucumbers if you want to be slightly pedantic.
pickled
I'm
pickles.
talking. But yeah, I feel like we're pickling. To quote an old film, they ask, could they, not should they?
Yeah.
Because I've read some treatises on naval foods, and I'm looking at some of the pickled goods in the naval food roster, and I'm like, why?
You can pickle anything.
It's sword food, but why?
Just why?
Did we have to? We could have just starved instead. That's also an option.
It's like, you could have dried it, but no, you pickled it.
Well,
So yeah, I was not aware of your what is the word I'm checking? Your
heritage.
Thank you very much. I'll save it. A point for you. Yeah, no, I was not aware of your heritage at all.
Yeah.
Why does it?
I think I've had
Why is it not?
one person say that they knew based off of just seeing me, and I don't believe them.
Do you know? Yeah. Do you know why it doesn't come through in your appearance?
My father is Finnish. He is extremely white. And my mother, she's Japanese and Filipino, and that was like the culture that I was primarily brought up being aware of was Japanese. But her father was Norwegian. Is Norwegian. So I think just the
It's all kind of
mixture of things. Actually, when I was born, my mom got to see me for the first time. She thought I was swapped when she couldn't see me. She thought that I wasn't the right baby.
Must
that
be
I
very
looked
frightening.
like.
Yeah.
She's like, no, that's not mine.
Yeah.
No.
Well, you have grown and matured into a very beautiful individual, despite the fact that your heritage doesn't necessarily show through. You've created a whole new heritage of yourself.
I do look a lot like there was one girl that I worked with that looked very similar to me. That she is also Happa, so it's mixed. So I think there's just there's our whole, I don't know, we're creating our own little segment of Happa people over here. We all just kind of have this same racially ambiguous, probably white, but then if you put us in the wrong places, they're like, wait, hold on. Actually, when I lived in Minnesota, people were really confused by me because I didn't look white enough. They didn't know what I was, but they were quite certain that it was not just white. I was regularly asked, what are you?
Why? You are not one. Explain yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's crazy. So,
Then they'd find out I was from California, and they're like, oh, okay, that explains it.
That explains. That was the answer you seeked. Yes. So have you been back at all? You said you've been back.
Yeah.
You have been several times. Yeah.
I went actually. God, what year was that? My boyfriend and I traveled there for a couple of weeks around when we were graduating from college. That was a lot of fun. No pig's feet. There were much more successful menu readings, me actually knowing what I was ordering, and it went well. So
Yeah. So has your language skill improved when it comes to?
I can. I'm very rusty right now. I'm very, very out of practice. But yeah, I can hold a conversation. I can. I understand much better than I can. Output.
Project. Yeah.
But Yeah. So reading, listening, all of that is pretty on lock. But if someone asks me to translate or if I'm supposed to actually respond, I'm a little bit more limited. But yeah, as much as I can. I really need to get back into it more. It's important.
Yeah, I think that's fabulous. I've never been able to learn another language. I mean, I do claim that I do speak English, Scottish, Irish, because they all speak English. I should point out American English, Canadian English, Northern Irish, Australian, New Zealand. And any other ones that are a variation of English.
So do you have can you do an American accent? Do you have one like on lock?
I know what Potato wants me to do in the chat. If anyone has seen Red Dwarf, they will know of the android Crichton as a character. I often do the voice in which Potato now thinks that is the American voice that I do. And that is my impression of American. It's not. It is Crichton from Red Dwarf.
You okay, hamster?
He knows Crichton.
I know Crichton, and I know Crichton, and I know his adaptation of Crichton, which is why I'm just utterly losing it here. Sorry.
Apparently, Spurs, this is my American accent. Even though I'm just speaking like Crichton.
My God.
I don't understand, Zoe. I don't understand why they think it's my American accent. I'm just doing an impression.
It's an American accent.
It is. It is meant to be doing an American accent. It's meant to be over the top and very ludicrous, but it's got a very distinct voice to it. But, Hamster, out of 10, my impression.
A solid 9.
Way nice. We'll be actually recreating an episode of Red Dwarf for my birthday stream coming up in a couple of weeks. Me and Eddie will be back doing again another full recreation of an episode. So you'll hear my Crichton voice in full force. I need to see if I can get myself a mask. Anyway, guys, have you ever attempted to speak in another language, or have you learned any other languages at all?
Go on.
I know a spattering of Latin. Not able to really speak it because most people don't speak Latin, apart from the church. But if you speak church Latin, then Americans who know Latin will shout at you for speaking in church Latin.
Well, it's a good thing I'm not Catholic, so.
I don't know anything about that.
No, I'm a whole different religion.
Yes, you are, my friend.
Yes, he is a priest of Cthulhu. Cthulhu. Yes.
Or one of the many other names.
Yes, of course, we're not going to go through the list again.
I have it on copy and paste style.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you genuinely does. But Mina, you have tried another language too, lately.
Yes, I know just exorcisms in Latin, but I also tried to learn a bit of French, German, but it's never fully went anywhere.
Yeah, we were
Learning languages is hard.
We were taught French at school. We're forced to go through the French lessons. But I mean, I don't think a lot of it's stuck. Bonjour, je m'appelle, Pratt, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, the wheat nerve? Anyway,
we?
I have no idea.
You there?
Something went wrong there. So yeah, I don't think au revoir, bonjour, and talk loudly. That's how I speak French. Yeah.
Perfect.
Where is the exit to this country? That's, how did I get here voluntarily? I must be held captive. Yes. No, I've been a few places. I've been to Germany. I've been to the Netherlands. I've been to France and Belgium. But I never really attempt anything. They speak English anyway, pretty much. It's crazy how English is kind of like everywhere.
Yeah, most places you can go to now, you'll do okay with like a few basic phrases and English.
Yeah.
Very surprised when I was quite young to see all of that. And like you'd go into like I was big in like TV and films and like so I go into the video shop and like it's just all the same stuff. Like it's all American and British stuff. I'm like, well, I was expecting just loads of stuff I wouldn't understand here. Like, but I know it might seem stupid, but like unless you're in Bollywood, you know, like in India, like they share so much of the Western, you know, kind of Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I just never realised it was going to be all the same stuff. Just same shows, just different language on the packaging. That was pretty much it. To be back. I tried to order a coffee in Vietnam and I got so confused. Oh, poor potato.
That was one of the phrases that I made sure I knew when I went to China was how to order coffee. Coffee ma.
Oh.
That's all I had. I had that, and I don't speak Mandarin. Those were the only two things that I particularly held on to.
So hold on.
Wish I had learned where is the bathroom. That probably would have been a good one to have.
You don't want to get that wrong and be pointed to a different place and end up. Yeah. Oh dear. I'm in a large bill. Let's just say that. Vandalism. So, you've been many places. I mean, where else have you been? Have you been around the world? What's going on?
Not quite. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Japan. I've been to a few places in China, Australia, and New Zealand.
Oh, you've been to Australia, Harley. Someone's been. Hey, wait a minute. What's she writing in there? Ciao sol si uno stronzo completo. I think that means, hello soul, I've got one large complete erection for you. That's how I read it. And I believe I am correct. But yes, we got someone's been to Australia. You're you know, your neck of the woods where only you live, Harley, and no one else does. Oh, I called you a complete arse. Oh. Go on, Meatloaf.
You are a complete arse.
Thank you very much. It's a quote from my Blackadder performance there. Thank you. Lovingly captured by Meatloaf and used aggressively and abusively at me at all times. Speaking about being aggressive and abusive, Meatloaf. I've never slapped my mother. That's not true, actually. I did actually accidentally biff her in the face once. But carry on, Meatloaf.
Okay, so little more context than I just slapped my mother.
No, not necessary.
So, okay, so what happened was, a few years ago, I go to my eye doctor appointment, and he says, let's fix your lazy eye. I said, sure, why not? If it's free, my insurance covers it, why not? Second eye surgery I get, because I got one when I was about 4 or 5. So I go to Bluefield to go get it done. And so they take me back, they sit me in the chair, or they get me in the gurney to roll me back to surgery. It took 3 nurses, 2 anesthesiologists, and 2 phlebotomists to actually stick me to get a vein.
Oh, wow.
And technically, I'd like to form a complaint against them right now because they use the same needle.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
No. Oh my God, no.
Damn.
Yeah, but
I don't
anyway,
think this is the
enough of
place to
that.
register that complaint, but nevertheless.
Yeah. But so one of the other ways that they could have done it is they could have went ahead and put me under with the gas and then stuck it in my neck, in my foot, or anywhere else they could get a vein. But finally, my body was just like, you know, we don't like getting stabbed no more, so we're just gonna play nice. And after they'd done it, they duct taped it basically to my arm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have extremely deep veins, and they like to move at any point. I hate it because I have to get blood drawn every 3 months because I'm diabetic. So they roll me back. They inject me with the sedative in case of the loopy medicine. And they ask me if I'm starting to feel anything. I'm like, no, I don't feel nothing. And they seem shocked, like, when I said I don't feel nothing. And so they rolled me back. Of course, the doctor walks in, says, hi, how are you? How you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm about to get cut. Of course, I'm always there for, like, horrible mistiming jokes. And so they put the mask on me, and they say, count to 10. I go, 1, 0. And then don't remember nothing after that. Because I am a complete ass to people. Because my whole family has always did medicine, medical business, nurses, doctors, and whatnot. So I'm used to it all. And so I wake up for like 5 minutes after surgery, after them trying for an hour to wake me up. And I wake up and I just see them asking me, are you okay? And I pass out. I wake up again. I turn and I look towards my mother, who says, you need to wake up. And I just smack her with like a very full force limp hand right across the face. And then I pass out again. And that's not even the end of the story either. That's the funniest part. Then after I passed out, I woke up again being rolled into an ambulance because they were moving me to Bluefield State Hospital. And so I asked for my glasses when I woke up. Of course, I had big eye patch, so my glasses didn't really fit. So I won because I had a massive headache. So then I passed out again. This was like a big nightmare scenario. Like you keep waking up and passing out off and on throughout the whole day. And so I remember waking up again when we arrived at the hospital, passed out, again, woke up in front of an x-ray machine, being like, what the fuck's going on? I look at the nurse next to me and I say, what the fuck's going on? Don't remember what she says, passed out, woke up again being rolled into an elevator by who I thought was Jesus.
I remember that.
Sure.
Because blinding light, bearded man, just standing at the foot of the bed. And
Can only be one person.
He looks at me and says, hi, how you doing? I see you're awake.
As Jesus does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I pass out again. Wake up in the hospital room. A nurse came in, asked me if I wanted something to eat, because of course you can't eat first before surgery at all. So I said yes. So they bring me a turkey burger. And then my mother comes in, says, you probably don't want to eat because they'll probably make you feel sick.
She had a massive
Like, no.
bruise across her face, by the way.
No, I don't remember that.
Big bandage over one eye. Coming in going, ooh, my eye!
But after waking up, I didn't eat because I fell back to sleep. I woke up again. My mother looked at me and said, are you going to stay awake? And I just slapped her again.
Again? Wait, you there again?
Oh,
Wait,
the
yeah,
other
twice.
way.
You gotta balance it.
Yeah.
It's got a vendetta or something.
I don't know. And so after that, I woke up, went, you know what? I'm too tired. I eat the fries, and then I eat the turkey burger. And then I pass out again. And I wake up, and I ask for, something for my headache. The nurse doesn't come back at all. My mother's fed up with it, because she was an LPN. She knows how the nurse works. Because it was close to her time off shift. So she wanted to wait for the next nurse to take care of her.
Hmm.
And so she's like, you know what, I'm checking you out. I'll take care of you while you're fading in and out of consciousness. And so I have to get my O2 stats above 90. So what do? I start walking around the hospitals with an IV,
Classic.
trying not to pass out. So I'm holding onto it with dear life, barely being able to walk. I get the O2 up, and then my mother goes we both walk to the nursing station, and we check out there because we know a nurse won't come back because, of course, almost time for the shift. And so, as we are going into the elevator to leave, there comes the surgeon who worked on me coming to visit me to see if I was okay. He's like, what are you doing up and walking? I'm like, oh, we're leaving. The nurses here are trash.
Okay.
And we ride the elevator back down. He tells me not to read or try to move my eye at all. I was blind in my eye for like a whole week because of it. And so I had to go to school the next day, and the teacher wanted me to read out loud. I'm like, I can't read out loud. I'll move my eye. Like, it'll be fine. So I try, and I just let out this horrific, like, death-curdling scream in the middle of class because it hurt so much.
How old were you, Meatloaf, when all this occurred?
How old was I?
Yeah.
I 15?
15. Oh, okay. So it still would have been a hell of a wallop, even at 15. But it came across her face twice. I was going to say across her bow.
I don't know. But yeah. I slapped my mother twice because of anesthesia, because they overdosed me on anesthesia.
Isn't that that thing you've got that you can't imagine?
That's aphantasia.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry. So I'm just. Have you got a thing against Churchill, by the way, Meatloaf?
No.
No revenge
No.
vendetta? Oh, okay. Just wondered because.
No, I quite like Churchill because I envy his drinking habit.
As everyone's right. I only ask because it's common knowledge that Meatloaf's mother.
That might, yeah. I look like Meatloaf. My mother looks like Churchill. My brother looks like Jason Statham.
Excellent.
Just that story. I felt like I passed out and woke up for it quite a few times, just from the sheer just absurdity of every event that occurred. I mean, that's intense. It was epic. Yeah. By the way, we got a compliment on your headphones and asking, what are you drinking?
Cute. And it's what even is this? I think it's a Pilsner from Alvarado Street Brewery in Monterey, California, where I went to college.
And welcome in, Spicy Stuff. Great name. Hope you enjoyed yourself. We most certainly are. Meatloaf on the other end. His mother is still recovering. I remember, right? There was a big wrestling show on, right? And I'd sit with my parents for it, right? Big event. We'd probably get order pizza in for everyone, you know. So I come into the room and I'm like, "Way, here we go!" Right? And I open the door and she just turned as I go, "Wait!" and boom, right on the side of the edge. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And there was no force behind it, of course. But she's like, "Ah." Don't ham it up. You get one foot good. No, I've never. No, she's a sweet little lady, you know. But yeah, that's the closest I've got to that. I didn't just see her and go, whack, you know, the first sight of her. have you guys Have you guys done anything crazy under the anaesthetic? I've had anaesthetic, but I've never had any like craziness behind it. Have you guys ever had any incidents of it? So.
I had anything along those lines. It was just what is it called? The nitrous oxide laughing gas at the dentist.
Yeah.
I thought I was dying. Just full on. I felt that this was the end, and was trying to communicate to my mother through extremely intense hand squeezes that it was goodbye. I was trying to tell her goodbye, I love you, and this is over. So it was that time, and then about a year ago when I got surgery on my foot, I also had a very similar them being surprised because they're giving me tons of meds to try and calm me down. I'm like, I don't feel anything. I am so awake. I am so anxious still, and I'm just continuing to pile on meds until I finally passed out.
Damn.
Woke up and told the nurse that I thought she was hot.
Yeah. Oh.
So I was just a confident Casanova. I think when I woke up, that was my experience.
What happened to your foot? May I ask?
I've been flat-footed, and I have all sorts of bad joints, bad everything, and so I had been working on my feet, which was a bad plan, for about a year, and ended up needing surgery to try and get the pain to go away. It didn't go away, so I just exist now.
I watched a video last week of some guy that had flat feet, and they were trying to massage them in a way that would... I don't know what they were ultimately doing, but he was in so much pain. He was biting down with them. They were pressing really hard and trying to kind of create a arch in his foot.
Arch, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of different reasons that you can have flat feet. My degree is in kinesiology, so I tried to learn a lot of this stuff myself to try and treat it myself, and then ended up needing surgery anyway. But yeah, there's a lot of different reasons for it. I've been flat-footed my whole life, so I kept trying to do exercises and stuff to try and create more of an arch and just strengthen the foot. There's lots of things that you can do with different variations on squats that you can do that help with that, but it all hurts. It all hurts, and depending on what else you got going on, you might just be messing up something else. And
Yeah, that's true.
It's a whole thing.
Damn. Hamster, have you been under any sort of anesthesia? Aphantasia.
I love that movie.
Yeah, so for a moment I mute my mic. When I was young, probably about 9, maybe 10 years old, I had a bone tumor in my leg called osteoblastoma, which I need to have removed. It came back again, and the second time I was in hospital for 9 weeks.
Damn.
There were a few interesting scenarios about that. Not with the operation itself, that went off without a hitch, it was the aftercare.
Oh, right.
Mainly. So the second thing they did was they put a cannula into my left hand. However, they were going through one of the major veins that basically runs through here, and they missed.
Oh.
And they got one of the small ones, kind of just in this little nest here, which meant that they were pumping quite a lot of medicine in for and that was agony.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So then they had to remove it. So I went into, I was nailed by mouth, and I was nailed by mouth for a week and a half.
Wow.
Because every time I would be fed nailed by mouth, so no food, no water, nothing. And then I would be prepared for surgery, so that doctor would come round. Okay, so this is procedure. You're having a Hickman line put in, so we're going to put a line into your neck. It's going to go through your right breast. Yeah, okay, go. And then they would never turn back up. And at 6 o'clock, a nurse would come in with a tray of cold food and say, "Here's your dinner," because we're not able to do surgery. This continued for a week and a half. And then there was a dearth of emergency operations which basically allowed me to actually get this done.
Right.
They then had to remove the erroneously placed cannula. And they decided that they weren't going to use general anesthetic. No, they were going to use nitrous. Laughing gas. I have a very vivid memory of 9-year-old me off my face on nitrous gas, looking at the ceiling and then looking over to my arm, and there's just things pulling the skin open and needles going in. And I went, wow, so many pretty colours.
Yes.
Which is, that was that. And then I think I ended up looking at the ceiling again and don't remember the rest of the operation, which is also why I have a very strong stance for recreational drugs. Because I've been there, got the t-shirt, and then
all comes full circle. Unbelievable. Brilliant.
Now,
wow.
I would like to mention the fact that I've had other surgeries before. Anesthesia has never fucked me up as bad as it did on my eye surgery. Right. Such as I've had an eye surgery when I was 4 years old to fix the same issue of lazy eye. I've also had my wisdom teeth removed.
Right.
And you know those videos of people always coming out of wisdom teeth surgeries being extremely loopy? I wasn't like that. I was completely normal feeling. I didn't feel tired or nothing, but the nurse said, I said, "Can I leave?" And she heard it as, "I want drugs."
What?
Because I had a bunch of cotton in my mouth. I said, "Can I please leave?" And it turned into, "Can I have drugs?"
Perfect. Good.
Wow.
Good.
Brilliant.
Apparently the nurse wanted me to have drugs. That's the way I would interpret.
You know, if you're offering.
Yeah.
But however, I was concerned because they didn't put me on the standard or normal painkillers for wisdom teeth. They put me on Vicodin.
What's that? What is that?
It's a heavier narcotic.
That good shit.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, to put it in perspective, so Hugh Lowry's character, House, on the show House MD, he's addicted to Vicodin.
Oh, right, okay. I got you. Yeah. I was awake when I had my wisdom pulled. Yeah, I was awake through my dental surgery as well. Yeah.
I wasn't.
Was that a local?
I don't know
what
why.
Local anaesthetic I would have had then. General puts you to sleep.
Probably.
Right? Local means you're awake. It's just numbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never had really any issues. I've never gone do lally, but then again, you know, who could tell? Yeah. I was going to say the same about Meatloaf, and he said, you know, I was fine in that. I'm like, you were Meatloaf, mate. Yeah. I do have to say, while we've got our wonderful guests here, I don't believe Hamster and Zoe have actually crossed paths, I believe. Is that correct?
I think we have.
No, which is wonderful, because I love the fact for you to go. Hopefully, we'll go follow each other and maybe check each other out. Meatloaf, I believe, knows Hamster through me, just in chat, I believe. But Meatloaf and Zoe have sort of do know each other. I've brought Meatloaf to Zoe on numerous raids, but Meatloaf was actually banned from Zoe's stream,
Wait,
or at least
what?
that's how he interpreted it.
Yeah.
I believe when he first arrived.
Hold on.
Yeah, one time.
Oh, yes. You're not actually banned, are you?
I know.
No,
you reversed
It's
it.
like, hold on, I need to fix that if that's true.
Yeah,
no, that is true. You came in and made a joke, and someone thought that you were actually saying something about killing somebody's grandmother, I think, and it was like, hold on.
Meatloaf came in with his puns just straight away. It's like whenever I used to take him places, it'd be like, you know, raid. Here's a pun. Let's see if anyone responds. You know, I want to make new friends. That kind of, that's fair. You know, it's very early on, right? And no, he did that with you, and it was like, so I think I'm going to be banned for making puns.
It was you, Sev. It was Sev.
I was like, you've got to be careful, all right? You've got to be careful, okay?
No, my wholesome little community, everybody just sees anybody new come in, and we all just, all of the spikes go up. We're all just like, no, what do you want? Who are you? Do you pass the vibe check? We're a little bit aggressive.
Tiny wizard, big hammer. Love it. Oh, brilliant.
Jeez.
Oh. No, you've got a
Well,
wonderful
not to
community.
mention, I've also been banned on Souls.
Oh, that.
No reason.
That was very
no
recently.
reason that I had.
What was it? Was that last
Not even
week?
because
Last
I'm-
week? Week before?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Week before.
Week before. I had a troll come in, and they were a bit dubious. We weren't too sure what they were trying to do, so I was like, okay, the mods are not sure. That's fair. I'll just go and ban them. So I have to. I usually see the chat through my OBS actually now. So to ban someone, I have to go onto my stream manager. So I load up the stream manager, I hover over the ban button, click. Just as I click potato comments, Meatloaf's name gets bumped up, bang, I misclick and hit Meatloaf. Banned. The poor guy, he thought, because there was a new thing recently on Twitch where if you got banned, it also unfollowed you.
Yeah.
Which is not a thing anymore. They reverted that back. So if you're banned, you do not get unfollowed. But Meatloaf was like, as soon as he was unbanned, follow age. He didn't say anything, just follow age. I have to see if you ruined it. But no, it was all good. We got him back, and the troll got bounced. Yeah. Unbanned Meatloaf. Yeah, it was all good. You won't let me live it down, though, most certainly. But I just, while you guys were here, I had to bring up that because I don't think it's ever mentioned to Zoe. I just love that. But yeah, all three of you have a wonderful community. So Hamster, you come from a wonderful group of individuals. I called for some time my European lot because I'm quite late night, and I used to be much later than I am now. And I'm a bit earlier now, and I'm able to be in their streams and actually be with my brethren, as it were. And I love the whole community. You know, Galaxy, Battle Hamster, Base. You know, you've got Clown Daddy, you've got Naomi, you've got them all, Abby, Doc. Yeah, just I love all of you guys. Bora. I love you so much. I'm just glad to be actually more involved with you guys. So that community is wonderful. Definitely a group you want to get to know. He is the battle hamster. Zoe, your community is always so fucking loving. You talk about being protective. I don't think it's overly protective. I think it's just devotion to what you do, and everyone needs that. As streamers, we need that kind of support, and you've definitely got it in droves. I'm always welcome when I'm over there. You're always a great destination to go with fun raiding, because I know you're all usually on quite later than me. So, you know, and it's chill to hang out with. I just love just watching your stream. Even if I can only make it for a little while, I'm glad I always make the first half, really, because I love watching you do your makeup. It's such a thing. I never thought I would actually be like, I want to see someone put on their makeup. It's not a thing you actively go and... I never thought I'd go out and seek it, but like, you know how to talk. You know, that's the thing. Like, you're not just there just doing it and everyone just watching you. You talk, you communicate, you have a good time. So I sit down and maybe have something to eat, and I can just watch you and interact with your chat and have a good time. So very much loving your community. Meatloaf's community is the Four Horsemen, of course. They're very much tied to me, I would say, and we love the Four Horsemen. Right up there. Yes, very much so. FPG, Shani, of course, and Pandemic. Recently was on the podcast. So yes, Meatloaf, I want to say thank you very much. I want to thank everyone tonight for coming out and sharing your stories, sharing your drinks. But before we wrap up, there are two things we need to do here tonight. First, I need to decide which one of you will die. Which one of you will stay in the quandary with me? May not be a bad thing. And which one of you I will have my wicked way with, and then open the door so you may leave. And I think I may have decided. But with the loving community that they provide, and the fact that they know many languages and could help me out when I go to foreign climes, I wish for Zoe to stay with me here in the quandary forevermore.
No.
What do you mean no? You have no choice. Don't you see the chains? I'll still allow you to
no, it's not like I have a
don't you
choice,
worry.
apparently.
I think I think given the amount of times he has gone to sleep and woken up, I put him out of his misery once and for all. And I will reach into him and clench his deep veins until he passes out and leaves this mortal coil. Meatloaf, rest in peace, my friend. Is he setting up a sound cue? What's he doing? He's going to sacrifice it to his god. And that means, Hamster, we get to recreate the Kama Sutra. That's what we get to recreate, my friend. And then, if you are able to walk, you may stumble drunkenly out of the quadrant and maybe fall into a ditch somewhere along your way home. Now,
no, that's not where it is.
now this show, The Quadrant, will go up on my YouTube later on this evening. It will be distributed across the Discord, so you can find it there. So please do follow and subscribe if you want to see the full.
Ignore that.
Oh, hold on, we've got something. Yes.
No. Ignore that sound.
Oh, ignore that. Oh, okay. Yeah. So please do go follow all of our wonderful individuals. We give them shout outs through the night. Please make sure you follow them because they are awesome, wonderful community. Go follow the YouTube. Get up to date on all of Soul shows. And we need a title for this episode though. When I put it on YouTube, it's going to say The Quadrant #1. Boom. We need a title. So based on some of our stories tonight, anyone got an idea for a... Has anyone said anything that would make a great title tonight? What are you thinking?
Since this was, just all of us talking about stories and stuff, I brought chips.
They're called crisps, mate. I brought chips. That could be all. What was the thing you said I could be in the recreations, Hamster? What would your role be?
I think one of them, part of a guild of mummers.
A guild of mummers. We could the guild of mummers. How about that? The Quadrant, the guild of mummers. What do you think?
Hey, I'll try and find a proper spelling of that as well for you.
Oh, no, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I feel like I missed up the theme of the stories. I could have come in with one of my injury or surgery stories too, and we could have had a more cohesive thing going on.
Oh dear. I mean, I think we could write. I don't know we could write pig trotters, but make sure it's written in a language that's indecipherable. Just as a nod. Oh, Spidey coming in. Hello, Spidey. Yes. Well, I think I like the guild. What do we think, ladies and gentlemen? The guild of mummers. Am I saying that correctly?
More or less.
More or less. Send me that spelling. We're all good.
Just bring it to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, all that leaves me to say is farewell to the Barrel Hamster. Rest in peace, Meatloaf. And Zoe, we're going to have a pleasant time together. So, farewell everyone. Goodbye.